here with HydraFX, one of the area's longest performing, super energetic, and highly talented bands. While a past version of HydraFX has released original music, they have mostly focused on entertaining us with covers. But that's all about to change because for the past 8 months, HydraFX has been writing, recording, and producing 10 songs that will make up their new album, Here and Now, available September 7th, 2024. For full disclosure, I have been using my knowledge and skill set to assist them in preparation for the release of this album, and yours truly also makes an appearance on the record. But we did schedule this like way before all of that happened. So as soon as you told me you were releasing original content, I was like, let's put it on the calendar. With that said, welcome, Greg, Sean, Wally, and Justin. And
Welcome.
Justin is a 3-timer for the podcast, so we got to get you a jacket.
Overachiever everywhere, man.
He needs a letter.
Thank you for sitting down and taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
Hell yeah,
absolutely.
dude.
It's great to be here.
I've been tied in this basement for a while now.
How's one of you been?
You being, child.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just get right to it. What was the catalyst for recording an album of original songs?
Really, the inspiration was we played, a million shows around this area. We finally we get time in little snippets of moments when we'd finish up shows together, acoustic shows or whatever, and we go out and see the original music scene that's been around here that Miss Carla has been covering. And we honestly just got insanely inspired by all of you guys doing it. And I know it's been over 10 years for me writing original tunes. Justin's been quite a while since he's done it. Never done anything with these
You guys
guys
have
before.
never recorded original music?
They
No,
had.
we
I'll let
did.
them feel that.
Sean and I were together before.
I had a couple. Yeah, we had a few bands. We had a few, but we never released anything. And I did some stuff in college.
we
but
did.
it's
We
been
were in a
years.
country band that did a release.
Oh
We did
yeah,
the EP
sorry.
release.
Yes, I was in a country band with him.
Yeah, Chip Wood.
2018
But
Chip
yeah.
Wood band.
Okay.
Here and
Shout
there.
out Chip.
Just he's put out
This
good
guy's got
music
a
too.
resume.
You might see the
Yeah.
first episode of this where he's played some of his songs that
Correct.
I still love
Yes.
to this day.
Pretty prolific writer yourself.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So you go out, you see other bands around the area who are putting original content, and how do you, what's that moment where you're like, shit, we're ready to do something ourselves?
I think when you watch another band, if you love music like we all do in this area, from covers to originals, you just can't help but be inspired every single time. I am every time I go see a band or a cover band or a famous band, it makes me want to go home, pick up my instrument,
Yeah.
and call these guys and say, let's have band practice.
It's kind of what did it in the first place, right? For all of us to pick up an instrument is, you see that band and you fall in love with it, right?
Right.
So you're just like, I want to do that. I want to play guitar. I want to play drums. But you nailed it on the head when you were like, what made you go out and go, shit? That's exactly what the four of us were like. We need to do that too.
How did that happen? Who was?
We were seeing 1,000
Yeah.
local shows, right?
I feel like it was right in either December or January. I kind of had the epiphany. It was like right around the holiday of. It was like right after things slowed down. Maybe in the wintertime, it was a little more chill. We had.
I started poking him before these two guys were in the band.
Okay.
I was like, hey, man. I was like, the original thing would be super fun to do. I was talking about it being therapeutic. I was like, we do these covers, we jam.
All of the above.
We see, when we jam, we see each other like making stuff up on the spot, kind of.
Sure.
And I was like, this would be really
Yeah.
good. We could probably write some good tunes.
Put that jam in between some bread,
Here we go.
as it were.
There it is.
Make yourself
There he is.
4 minutes in. We got it.
make yourself a sandwich.
But that's Sean. So you just roll with it, right? Right?
Everybody fits in right where they need to.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's where he
Exactly.
fits.
in that bread.
And that's part of what makes this band or this iteration of the band so great is that it's not just the personalities, which come across really well when you guys are performing. I have to say that I've seen HydraFX mid 2000s at places that don't even exist anymore. And but seeing you guys now, the energy that you bring, I leave pumped every time I see you guys.
Thank you.
Oh,
A bunch of buddies
Carla.
having a good time.
I mean,
Yeah.
it does mean a lot
have a
to
good
me.
time when you play.
It's
Yeah.
a weird.
It
I feel like
resonates.
it's a weird path because it's like I've known Greg for a long time. I knew Justin since probably 2012. I've known all these guys for better part of 10, 15 years, but it was a while before we all kind of
Kind of like a love
our
story.
paths. It is kind of it is yeah, it is kind of like a love
It
story.
was meant to be, guys.
The universe kind of just did this, and eventually we kind of interwove.
Yep.
Back. It's interesting.
Sure. So HydraFX itself has been around for over 20 years. Is that right?
When did the comet hit the dinosaurs? It was right about now.
So a really long time ago then.
Officially, 2002.
And you
We've been
started the
around.
band with your brother.
Yes, in high
Joe.
school, and it was we just. I mean, we had played when we were younger, but we were like, let's seriously name this thing, get it going. With a guy named Aaron Barchers on the bass, and we just kind of started as a 3-piece and then moved to a 4-piece when we met Kevin Quinn, and then it was just kind of like that reggae beach vibe mixed with punch you in the face kind of hard rock.
So if I may, one of my favorite memories was probably when I was 18 years old, circa 2005 or 6. I remember seeing HydraFX playing at the American Legion. I had to wear a wristband because I wasn't of age. I couldn't drink
Right.
beer. I had to have a wristband. Had to have X's on my hands.
Right.
And I go in, and it's like this ugly carpet. I remember it being like this ugly green carpet in this ugly room or whatever. And it's like, kind of dingy looking. And then, but I just hear like the most amazing music and the bass player was just jumping around and Kevin was jamming on sax and they had so much energy and just like you talk about being inspired was one of the things that I was like, oh man, I need to make a band. I need to do this. Like this is like, so it's like I remember being inspired by Greg almost 20 years ago.
That's really cool.
To do this.
That's
40?
really cool.
I'm old.
So I almost 20 years ago. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
So
Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's actually a pretty cool story.
yeah.
So you all, after doing the circuit and you guys are playing 2, 3, 4 times a week, be it doing the duos, the solos, or as a band, you decide you want to do this original music. How does this start?
With a single note.
Justin, you want to field that one?
Well, I think it was we had done a couple tribute shows, and so we kind of fell into this ebb and flow of rehearsing at my house, which has a recording studio. There's just a nice space there for us to
Milestone
do.
Studios?
Milestone Studios, yes, MYLES.
Instagram.
So we kind of fell into this this flow of us rehearsing for that, and then it might have been you or somebody at one point. While he gets excited, his shoulders go up like this, right? So he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Hey guys, hey!"
So true.
Right? And he's like, "We should write original music." And he does these little shotgun things, little pistol
Wally, they
things.
got you down
Not
pretty
shotguns,
good.
pistol.
6 shooters, baby.
There it is, 6 shooters.
All about.
And I think it was like December. We just
I've been pushing for this for a long time.
yeah, you were. And with my insane schedule and everyone else's insane schedule, we finally had one day. And I think it was December, right? Is that when we did Plymouth Rock, if you will?
December 1.
It was
Oh, wow.
December
Yeah.
1st.
Oh, wow.
It was
Gabby,
December
that's
1st.
That's a deep one. That's a deep cut, too.
It's
Yeah.
a deep cut. That's.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll
I don't
get
want
there.
to we're gonna circle
We'll get
around to
there.
that. But we were at my house and I think we recorded. I think I said Greg or Wally, like, just take your phone. There's a trick that bands use. They put their voice memo on.
Yeah.
You wrap it in a shirt and then you put it like in the same room or outside.
Yeah.
We put it outside the live room, control room, whatever. And we just, I don't know, we came up with some kind of bass line and then we just all just fell into this groove and we were like shouting like, let's go here. Blah, blah. We still have that voice memo to this day.
Keep
So
those.
we're going to keep them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got together again after New Year's, this past January. We just said writing sessions, right? I think we just said,
100%.
let's go. Let's shoot for the moon.
Show up and see if it works. That was our
Right.
first one.
Well,
the first one was
yeah.
let's see if we can do this
Yeah.
together because we didn't know our methodology.
We had never
at all.
tried to write together either. Yeah, it was like
We
just-
got there, and it's funny because all of us here get so excited about anything music related. We can talk about it. We love playing it. We love just noodling, jamming. When we got there, we sat in a circle. It was literally a circle, or maybe a square. There's only 4 of us. But we
Parallelogram.
sat, well, who has any ideas? And we
This
cold play.
episode.
We Coldplayed almost everything that we did. It all spawned. I don't think anyone had any finished ideas. It was just little nuggets, and someone go here, and he would show it to all of us.
Yeah, that was the second session. The first session was like we sent this one like we hit it hard on the first one with full band, right? Full band setup.
Yeah.
And then the second one, we were in the live room. We were like literally kind of like this, but we were facing each other, like boom, 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 and like you said, just nothing on the table, just noodling and.
No rules.
I had a guitar in my hand for the first like four sessions.
Wow.
I did not touch the drums once.
Everybody's has had really good input in every little portion of this.
So was it like you have a riff, Wally, and you started, and then you know, I mean, it's
Kinda
kind of unfair
ricochet off
because
that.
I've seen some of it happen, you know, but
Yeah.
for those who haven't,
Sure.
who weren't there, you know, did you start with something and then Justin picks it up, then Sean, Greg, how are lyrics coming out?
Yeah.
What's that process like?
I think
boy.
a good example of one of the earlier one, like Barrick he brought us a song that he had on his, I think your tablet,
Yeah.
which I think is our single now. Was that the one that existed?
Was that Rooftops?
No, that was. It was. I think something we
Serpent, I think.
Yeah,
we
when he
would
brought us-
chop so piece.
Yeah.
All of these. I have an iPad that's like 46 years old. And we'd take little nuggets from each of them, and then you would just play a riff from there, and then that would be great. And it would just go passed around in a circle, man. And
plant a seed and water it. We
Right.
all did.
Yeah.
and then when inspiration hits, you simply smack the wave. Am I right?
Hey.
JustMouse.com.
I do it to Sean all the time.
Everyone had some little ideas. It was like bring your idea to the table, and it was kind of like, we weren't ever going to shoot down an idea. It was kind of like we would try to work an idea through, and then maybe some ideas got left off, and then other ideas, somebody would be like, oh, let's try this and add this part in, and then it's just kind of like these things would just take shape. And then we're just so used to playing with each other too, so used to jamming and rehearsing some of the form, because it's like you play hundreds and hundreds of songs, so the form is beaten to your head.
Sure.
You know there's a verse, there's a chorus, there might be a little bridge here, and so it's like the form starts getting beaten to your head. So it's like, okay, this is kind of a chorusy thing, it's kind of a versey thing, and we just kind of start molding it, and it kind of becomes like from a loose piece of clay, and then it becomes a figure,
Sure.
a shape.
Sure.
Ghost.
Sean's a silver tongue devil.
He's
and he's got a
using all
straight
kinds of
line to
metaphors.
my
I
my
love it.
funny bone.
I-
So if I laugh on this podcast, I'm sorry. It's because of him.
Do
I
it.
can't stop.
No, it's
All right. Okay.
we're having a conversation here. So then fast forward to February, right? You guys decide you're gonna go away for a few days, right? And this is what we now know as the cabin session.
Yes.
Sure.
What was that like?
That was a bucket list thing for me. I think as musicians, we always kind of fantasize about that retreat where we can just jam. That's all that matters is the music and you boys and you playing Scrabble and whatnot. I mean, what?
They had a hot tub.
Yeah. Hot tub.
That's how you get lyrics, though.
Right,
Playing Scrabble, right?
True. I've always wanted to do it, and I was so stoked that they wanted to do it too.
We kind of made a rule. It was like almost like you wake up, we eat breakfast, and put your phone away. Literally, like put your phone away, and we worked. It was like 8 or 10 hours a day. Truthfully, we pretty much focused. It was
Didn't feel like work.
Yeah,
just
it
felt
wasn't-
like we all just started
Yeah.
doing it, and it just didn't stop till
Sure.
11 until
Very
we thought
true.
Yeah.
people were getting. That we thought the cops were getting called.
Yeah.
That's true. I forgot about that.
And you came out of the cabin with the foundation for this album, right?
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I still hear some of you say like, we're going back to playing it like we played it at the cabin.
Oh yeah.
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 The first time was the purest kind of vibes.
Yeah.
I listen back on those still to this day, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it's funny because we're getting through the finish line of this process, and you hear the songs now. It's the songs have completely developed into this thing, and you go back and listen to the old ones, and you're like, oh man, we left that out. Oh, we forgot that part. Oh man,
Yeah.
It's so cool. Listen to how this. It's like a baby being born, like your
Sure.
child. Sorry, it's
Yeah.
like your kid is developing. It's the coolest thing.
And we dove in. I mean, it was with a lot of thought went into the process of just doing the cabin sessions, which I love that we call that cabin sessions. I'm sure somewhere in maybe a few years from now we'll release a couple MP3s or online.
100%.
The cabin sessions, the HydraFX.
do it
Where
again.
are they now?
Do it again.
Or maybe, yeah. But it's not like it was in West Virginia, was it?
Wild and wonderful.
West Virginia.
Up in the mountains, and we took all our gear. I took my little kit. We set up microphones. Like the first thing we did is we.
Oh yeah, we mic'd everything. Yeah.
I think we'll have to. Maybe we'll give you a before and after picture for this. And be like,
Okay.
show the before picture, and show the after picture.
Oh, like,
I'll make sure I give that to you. Yeah,
Put it on the
it's-
bottom
But we,
here.
we arranged the whole living room. It was about the size of your
right,
area
right,
here.
yeah.
And we pushing couches out of the way. Me and this guy were like, me and Sean were pushing stuff. Greg was pushing stuff, and we all had our little office. My office was right next to the kitchen. But I could turn around and like open the fridge and grab a granola bar or something. But we set up shop for 4 days straight. We cooked, like he said, we cooked and cleaned after ourselves. This guy's, he doesn't clean up after himself.
Arguably
saying.
the cleanest.
He is the cleanest.
oh man.
My shop was right next to the door, just in case I needed to get out of there real quick.
Sean, 100% is the. You hear a lot of smack talking about Sean, but Sean is the best chef in the band.
Yes, he
Hell
cooks, man.
yeah, dude.
Oh yeah,
Wake up to the
Right?
gourmet meals every
I
morning.
also burnt coffee, so let's make sure that's. Yeah, let's make sure that's
be
being
fair,
recorded.
I was
Never
sleeping, down,
forget.
I was
were
sleeping
kind of-
downstairs, and I woke up at like 9:30 in the morning. I was like, "What the hell's that smell?" Like,
There was
burnt-ass
there was
coffee.
confusion. It was kind of like groggy in the morning, and it's just like I started it up. I realized I didn't have something right, so it just was like coffee was like burning in the filter. It was not
You
good.
backpedal anymore, you're going to
Yeah.
moonwalk into this
Yeah.
drum set.
I know.
But you're a good chef then, huh?
He
you
made
were
omelets.
You were the cookie.
Was it omelets?
I made like a quiche. I think I made a quiche.
You made a quiche.
Yeah, he
Made
was
a
killing it.
quiche or something, and
He was a quitchy.
I did another.
Man made it.
We did another dinner. I can't remember what everything we had, but
We
made-
make
Let's go
steak,
through the
we
whole
did
menu, right?
Salads.
Steak, yeah,
we
steak
did it.
salad,
We did
yeah.
all dude stuff.
Yeah.
I made salsa.
lasagna from.
He made.
Oh
I'm
yes,
just-
shout
I'm
out
still
to Sarah,
trying
my
to-
girl.
I'm just still trying to think about the fact that Justin keeps his granola bars in the refrigerator.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know why I said
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Cool and crisp. Granola
I
bars.
like that.
Shout out to
Wow.
Sarah though. She made lasagna for the
Yes.
Chris.
She did.
Sarah
yeah.
did.
It was
Yes.
a delicious
Sarah made
lasagna.
wonderful lasagna.
It's the
Thank
best.
you, baby, for the lasagna.
That was easy not to mess up because we just stuck it in the oven. That was probably
Right.
the easiest part. And she wrote like really easy. It was like step 1, take off plastic. Step 2,
She knows.
Don't
she knows
burn the
who
plastic.
she's with.
it was
knows
like
who she's with.
very simple instructions. Yeah,
Yeah, seriously.
very easy.
Turn the preheat the
It's
oven.
like I'm giving
okay?
this gigantic lasagna to Wally. Let's make this as in depth as
Yeah.
humanly possible. I'm all right. Let's do it.
Call me
I
with any
appreciate
question.
every bit of it.
Oh gosh. So I remember when you guys came back from the cabin and just the excitement that you all felt. And then it was like, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's start next week. And then for the next however many months, it was, every Thursday. And then, time became a little shorter. And now it's, Mondays and Tuesdays and Thursdays and so and so. So where are
Yeah.
you guys now? And by the time we air this, the album will be complete. But where are you guys now? And as far as the recording process?
The recording process is done. We kind of
Yep.
just, power charged through it.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
dove into that thing, man.
Yeah,
Justin is pretty much it's if you're watching this, he has his own studio, Milestone Studios, and so we kind of let him take the helm on, hey man, I want to do this first, this second, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera. So then everybody just got their marching orders, so to speak, and we just knocked it out piece by piece, and now we're just mixing and mastering and all the other stuff that's technical that I don't understand. Guys,
yeah. It was very iterative and it was very cool. And it is really neat because like obviously we had to get used to our writing styles,
Yes.
which is how we all write songs, and then also how we're thinking about laying this out. And Justin provided some really good guidance. Justin was just like a master chef. Started with the drums pretty much in April, so it was like drums and then drums, bass in May, and then end of May into June, guitars, track your guitars, guitars, vocals in July, and it was like, so it was just everything stacked on stacked, and it was nice too because the way we gave it about 3 or 4 months to kind of breathe a little bit. So some of it too, you could kind of come back and revisit stuff. We didn't try to jam everything in like a 2-week session.
Sure.
So we kind of just tracked. I think it was a healthy way to do it. I think it would have suffered a little bit if we would have tried to choke it a little bit, but the way we kind of took and gave it some breath, it was good.
And I have to say, I mean, now having watched you, not just with HydraFX, but I sat in with Tabby Spell that one time. You're a great producer.
Thank you.
The way that you talk to people, and I have heard from other artists who have come to Milestone to record, and they tell me the same thing, just how patient you are and how kind you are, and it's an environment for creativity and not like, hey, there's the clock,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can say something positive about you,
You guys are gonna make me
Just
start
one thing.
crying. Stop it.
welcome to the Just
Go around
Miles
the table.
podcast.
He only hit me once.
I will say, I've recorded 2 albums and a handful of singles in I would call it my recording career. And the best experience, I mean, not just because he's my friend, but there's something innate about you that you bring out the best in people and you encourage them
Yes.
to do their best. I
Yes.
don't even know how to describe it,
Yeah.
but the way you make people
Coach,
do their best,
like coach to
It's-
perform. Yeah.
is something that's
Yeah.
kind of like a trademark of what he does. And you got to experience it if you're in the recording realm.
Thank you.
We should
Appreciate that,
also
And he's hot.
Justin obviously is fantastic. We should give a quick shout out to Matt Henshaw. Matt Henshaw
Yes.
helped out a great amount with drums initially. So
Yeah.
Matt Henshaw in his production, he came in and helped us. So there's some kudos there.
Matt Henshaw is one of probably the best engineers I've ever met in my entire life.
I would agree with
and
that.
I could shout out tons of guys. Draper Carter, they learned from. I'll give Ron Vento a shout out. I think they kind of got a lot of stuff from Ron Vento at Night Sky. He was amazing. I mean, he was on the cover of EQ magazine. What I mean?
Wow.
He's badass. So it's just fun to see the little bit of we're all like cousins of that.
Yeah.
You know
It all
what I mean?
connects.
It
Yeah.
all connects. And like he said, Henshaw came over. I asked the boys. I said, "Listen, I want to be hands off when I drum. I've done the whole drumming with a mouse and
Right.
a keyboard and running back and forth.
Right.
And so we got him to come in. That took I don't know if you guys realize this, but it took a lot of stress off my shoulders.
Sure.
Yeah.
I showed up to the recording studio to play.
Right.
And that was
Especially,
it.
I'm here to play.
especially when you don't have a keyboard in your lap when you're playing in a mouse. I told Justin, get the keyboard and the mouse off. It's just not going to work. You're going to hit it. It's going to hit you in the face. I just don't do that.
I walked all the way downstairs for this.
Control Alt Snare.
Right. Control Alt Snare.
That should be the name of the album.
Control Alt Snare.
Space tab.
The next album, it'll be OK Computer by Radiohead.
Right,
just
right.
Control Alt Snare.
He brings up doing drum and bass stuff. Ain't bad. Ain't
I
bad
love it.
working title.
There you
for
go.
I like that Control
drum
Alt
and bass
Snare.
stuff.
The,
Good job.
I appreciate you guys saying that about me. It's been stress. It's been a lot of stress. Even Matt Henshaw was like, "Yeah, you're using this. You're using this. You're using this. You're using this.
Yeah.
It's all systems go."
But you trusting Matt to come in and engineer that part of the project.
Yeah,
I
the track
think-
drums basically. Yeah.
Right. And Matt is a fantastic, we can run down a list of all the stuff that he's
Sure.
done that I'm a huge fan of.
He's a wizard.
I joke
Yes.
with him. I say he's my personal, I use Pro Tools as my rig. A lot of people use whatever. I don't care what you use, but it's my rig to use. I call him my personal, customer service,
Help desk.
tech support.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I think you guys witnessed. I called him 3 a.m. once.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And he answered, and
Yeah.
and he was like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm just up with the baby." He had a baby. He has another
He
one
keeps
on the way.
and he keeps our schedule.
Yeah,
Also.
yes. And he was just like, "Oh, if you hit Option, Control, blah 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 blah, this will happen." And I even
How does
yesterday
he
I
know
saw him a
that?
screenshot. He's brilliant. But swinging back to the cabin sessions, we didn't go straight from the cabin straight into the studio to record. We actually we did a couple test rides.
We did.
We
Sure.
test
That's right.
drove all the songs.
Yeah.
Where we were actually this close to actually maybe I tried it, but I got voted off the island. but to do a live studio recording. Because if you go back and listen to those recordings, they're not fucking bad at all.
No,
man.
not at all.
And so us live in the studio, Cans, he's in the booth, these guys are in the control room, and we're just going to town. No lyrics ish, but we could always add that later. But
Yeah.
So speaking of no lyrics ish,
Yeah.
there weren't lyrics, but it was the first time you played Rooftops for me. There were no vocals, no lyrics, but there was the I want to shout it from the rooftops, right? So that idea was already there. Whatever seed was already planted, and then the lyrics came around that.
Oh, it was
Yes.
like the hook. Yeah, the hook was
Yeah.
there.
I
That
could-
little hook was there, and then we kind of just structured the rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was him.
Yeah, that was this guy. He was like, "Mom, no, I was like, all right, go ahead, Justin. And he was like, and it was like, it just happened from
But
there.
who said shout it? Someone said didn't want
We-
to
you said-
I think you wanted
thought
to
it
shout
was
it.
him.
I think, do you
Yeah,
want to
if you
shout it?
listen to the demos, because I'd still listen.
was
to all
that
the
was that doob 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 dee
Yeah, like stuff like that. And he's like, rooftops. And then I was like, and then we wrote down rooftops.
Yeah.
What would you do from a rooftop? Hit somebody with a pebble, fly a kite, shout it from the
There you
rooftop.
go.
And it's
Yeah.
where it came
It was
from.
it was going to be take a selfie from rooftop, but that was too wordly. I want to take a selfie. It was just too much work. We couldn't fit that.
Get out.
I think
Get out.
Barrick does a great job of grabbing lyrics from thin air,
He does.
along
Yeah.
with melodies.
Yeah.
He has a knack for melodies
the
too.
melody
Miles has the
maker.
knack
And
also.
and harmony.
Oh yeah, he can harmonize anything.
Yeah. Who God bless, all men curse. You want it now, you want it first. We want the best and we won't settle for the worst. I have a vision for this life that you seek. No longer will you feel incomplete. Unify, I and I, everybody get up, move your feet, yeah. The concept seems so far away, but give love a chance. I can hear the voices say, I want to shout it from the rooftops. One love, can you feel it when the beat drops? And the concept seems so far away, but they'll understand. I can hear the voices say, love yourself, feel the song, count your blessings and keep moving on. You wake up tomorrow, it'll all be gone, and then one day your heart will stop. Is anyone listening? Does nobody care? We all need somebody to know that we're there. The concept seems so far away, but they'll understand. I can hear the voices say, I want to shout it from the rooftops. One love, can you feel it when the beat drops? And the concept seems so far away, but they'll understand. Wanna love, love, love.
That's your first single, Rooftops, and you guys released that one back in May.
It seems like so long ago.
It really does.
That
It
old
does.
chestnut.
But it's such a good song. And
Thank you.
Can you tell us the story about how you came about with the lyrics?
Sure. So the rooftop thing, we for some reason or another, like it's that crazy inspiration. We knew it was going to be shout whatever, blah 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 blah, shouted from the rooftops. Then went and saw the Bob Marley movie, One Love. Great movie. And obviously, I don't think it's I'm saying anything new here, but we're all reggae fans.
Right.
And I just got inspired by the whole message. I've always been a huge Bob Marley fan. And it all started pouring out the moment I got home from that movie. I wrote probably 3/4 of it.
Wow.
Just the whole message of positivity and love and sharing it, and how we sometimes take things for granted, and it's so easy to just love. It's so easy to just love somebody, and just share the love and positivity. I want to thank Justin for sitting me next to Sean. We all flipped a coin before.
Justin was like, I was like, hey, can I sit next to you? He was like, actually, I'd really prefer if you just kind of.
Not how it went
Just
down.
love and positivity before you punch your best friend in the face.
I'm here to wrangle him in.
So that takes me to my next question. Here and Now transcends genres, right? It just, there isn't, you can't say it's a reggae album or a rock album. There's so much going into this album. But was there a discussion about what the album was going to sound like?
Yes.
That's a great. Yeah.
Yeah.
You take this one.
Wow.
There was a rather large, I wouldn't say large, but it was discussed that I think we all at one point or another talked about not hindering us by closing us into a box with
Yeah.
anything. I think everybody was completely open with ideas. We talked about the artsy part of it, and I think everybody was completely open to creating whatever came out. And you'll hear that on this album.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
very, very eclectic. Nothing was shut down because of what it was.
It's almost like the playlist. I don't know if this sounds cheesy. It's like the playlist of our lives because
Wow.
it's like the playlist
I like
of our
that.
lives.
Sean.
It's like the playlist of our lives because it's got a little bit of everything that's influenced us. It's got reggae, a lot of reggae. It's got Latin drumming. It's got rock and grunge stuff. It's got this it's got this stuff that's all of our lives. You know what I mean? Greg is like, it's got the feel from him. It's got there's Miles is all over this. Wally, his stuff. I mean, it's just like it's kind of like
An amalgam.
it's the playlist of our lives.
That is, what a great way to put it.
Yeah.
I'd like that.
I have some good thoughts. I have my moments. I'm like that light bulb that occasionally it's like in your shed when she sometimes gets bright and just flickers and just
And
comes
there it
on.
goes.
That's
It's gone.
Yeah, and it's gone. Yeah, that
That
one-
old like
Yeah,
Don't go into the light.
like Ace Hardware
I
light
meant
bulb.
to change that.
it's on the chain.
True
Yeah,
value
it's
light bulb.
Just like just once in a while has
Well,
this.
we had a few songs before we went into the cabin. I think we had like 4 or 5.
Okay.
We came out of the cabin with like probably 8, 9 more. Because there were
Wow.
songs at the cabin we argued about, like, let's not spend time on that now because we got it on voicemail. We'll
Yep.
touch that when we go back.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I think, I'm ballparking here. I think we had like 16-ish if we're counting the
The little odds and ends.
the odds and ends.
Uh-huh.
I will say that I know we've played them for you guys, but there's a song that I can't wait to do that we'll probably put it out later on in the year, maybe as a single for Halloween. But it's like
Oh,
it's
yeah, I remember this one too.
it's like, what would you say, Greg? Like you take Pantera, a little bit of Metallica. I'm talking
And
old
Nightmare
school,
Before Christmas.
and Night Before Christmas, and throw it into a blender.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's
I would say,
it's not on here
I'm
now.
about to, fuck it.
Just do it.
It's probably the most brutal stuff we've ever written.
That's
Yeah.
That
awesome.
song
We
that he's
stretched out.
referring to.
Yeah.
We
Oh, it's
stretched
so
out.
good.
we went from the 16 songs, let's say 16 songs, we go from like to like the heaviest being like that right, like he was like Greg was like just
so awesome.
Greg looked at me, he was like ting 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 ting. I was like, I got you. And then we all just fell into this groove, and we're
Cooking,
like,
dude.
the biggest argument we had was like, what songs are we gonna
Keep
How
Yeah.
does
This
it
guy-
fit into-
this guy
Right.
wanted to, he was
Yeah.
like, let's do 2 CDs and like put 10
Fuck
songs.
yeah.
I remember that.
We were like,
the
whoa, whoa,
whole
whoa,
night
whoa,
and
whoa,
day.
whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Speaking of
It's pick your favorite kid at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that cabin trip, there was so much contrast between all the music that was coming out. I remember one night we had started a song probably around 10 o'clock, 9 or 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And it was just me on acoustic guitar. And I was like, hey guys, I've had this in
Oh,
my
this is
back
at nighttime,
pocket.
right? Because the noise.
Yeah. I was like, I've had this in my back pocket for a while. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, we won't do anything. We go to 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 in the morning.
Shit.
I have the original video of the final recording of that.
Yep.
And Miles is like, it's 3 in the morning.
It's 3:30 in the morning.
3:30 in
Yeah.
the morning.
And I'm loving it.
But we did an intimate acoustic song. It sounds like Kansas or something
Right on.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like every which way that cabin trip it pointed you in every which genre.
But I mean, there's something super cool about that. In that, you know, if you join Metallica, you know exactly what you're gonna get, right?
Sure.
If you join
311.
311, you know exactly what's gonna happen, right? If you join Dirty Heads,
Sure.
and so on and so forth. This is like, holy shit! It's just the array of sounds and. I mean,
Yeah.
when you
Like-
guys came back
like
from the cabin
Yeah.
and actually no, when you started tracking drums, and I was there for that because I was was filming for something we're doing later. And you played this one particular song for me, and as soon as I heard it, I was like, okay, this is not reggae, it is not rock, this is fucking Latin beats. What the hell? And I couldn't wait for this song to be done because I was like, right away I was like, this is special. This is super special. No one's done anything like that. In these parts and for a long time. I mean, I know the stuff because I'm obviously in it. There's some bands from Puerto Rico that I listen to that they mix the rock and the salsa. But like 4 guys from Southern Maryland, and they're and I was
Yeah.
blown away. And I will
you.
say that, you know, now that the song's done and over, and it happened to me with Rooftops, it's happened to me with Skies, it's happened to me with every time you send the file, like
Your baby's
here's-
graduating.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my
Birthing
god,
it.
it's gonna be stuck in my head for the next, 5 days. And sure
Yeah.
as shit, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, go away, please,
First thing I said to her,
please.
I saw you on Sunday. We went into
Yeah.
saw 311, and Greg was there too. He's got the tattoo to prove it.
Kid's first concert. My kids.
Amazing. That was so
That's
cool, by
awesome.
the way. That's so cool that you took him
Super
there.
cool.
I think the first thing I said when we were like high fiving,
Yeah.
it was like I started singing
Yeah.
the song. And you're like, me too. It's happening to Jay too. He's singing it too. But the cool thing about like you're saying, you can't pinpoint like what
Yeah.
style is on the album. You definitely hear all of our influences. Like
Yeah.
I think you were trying to say that
Yeah.
earlier.
No
I
doubt.
mean, me and Greg are probably the biggest 311 fans
Okay.
in this group. And then I love Dave Matthews Band. I will
Right.
admit it. I'm a hardcore Dave
Hell
Matthews
yeah,
fan.
dude.
Even though I don't know why they get so much shit. Everyone says Dave Matthews. I was like, you got to say band afterwards because the band is the
Dave
shit.
Matthews Band is a fucking great band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love them, man. But I mean, it's not a question. I'm a huge Carter Buford fan.
Sure.
And
Gotta open them
this
hands
is
up.
the first time, not only on my CDs that I put out over 15 years ago, or 10 years ago, whatever. It felt good to like dial back a little bit and just play from here, and to actually see this is probably the one CD where I'm trying not to sound like the person that or Stuart Copeland or Chad Sexton from 311,
Right.
Super
Buddy
chop
Rich,
heavy.
yeah, super chop heavy. And even Greg said to me like during the recording session, he's like, I'm really surprised how much you're just laying into that shit. I'm like, because it feels good, dude.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you hear the 311 influences from Greg, but it's Greg.
Right.
You know, you hear
Right.
all the like you hear your bass. I don't know who the hell he likes. Tyler Childers. Like, I'm sorry.
I love Tyler Childers' bass playing.
But no, you hear like all the influences. Like when
Yeah.
you got that, what's that Stingray bass?
yeah.
We started like as soon as like he tracked like a couple recordings with like I think another bass. He came in with that Stingray, and you could just Sean was like leaning into it like this. He was like, "Let's go."
Wow.
Generally, they sit behind me when we
Yeah.
engineer, and you could just feel. I could feel your fingers, man.
I love Flea.
Flea is your-
Stingray.
yeah, you're
Flea's a
inspired by him,
Stingray.
right?
Flea's a Stingray.
And then you got this guy
Yeah.
with coming in with the strats and stuff like that, and just you could hear everyone's like just melting pot of
Yeah.
Yeah.
genres, just sinking your teeth into every song that we're doing.
I will
You
say
know?
this: it's totally unexpected.
Yeah.
And I think when people hear the album, there's so many earworms in this album, but it's totally unexpected.
Nuggets.
Little
Yeah.
nuggets, man.
Super, yeah, golden.
nuggets.
Call 'em little
not
nuggets.
chicken, golden nuggets.
Platinum.
Little dinosaur
They-
nuggets.
Dino nuggets.
Dude,
Barbecue sauce. What?
I would say, just quickly, like every time I've recorded in the past, it seems, and I feel like this is with other bands too. It was like this purpose, like you have to make a song 3.5 minutes. You have to, put out your reggae stuff to be marketable, and I want to give a shout to these three guys that we all just looked at each other and we're like, we're gonna do what we want to do
Yeah.
for us, and I personally have never experienced that in my life. And it's not like like I don't like my previous recordings because I love reggae rock and stuff, but this one was just gloves are off, who gives a shit.
right.
And it was liberating, dude, to be honest.
Yes, super liberating.
That's awesome.
And one of the things I think that anybody who has seen HydraFX knows, we will go from playing Bob Marley and then 2 songs later play Metallica. We will always play probably some of the most cross genres from like, you know, Eagles, Hotel California to like I don't know, 311. Like we'll just
Chop suey.
Chop Suey. Yeah,
Billy-
we'll play.
Billy Joel, like,
we've always
yeah.
kind of played like 5 or 6 different genres, tons of genres. So it's like this is almost a reflection on that too, and it's like
Sure.
our favorite stuff going
Well
into the
put,
stuff
man.
we're making. You know.
Yeah.
No
No,
doubt.
it's like I said, it's unexpected and it's transcending. There's just no other way to put it. I don't know how you guys pick singles, because to me, like every single song is like so fucking good that
Yeah.
I could
is like
hear it on the
singles.
radio.
Yeah.
Here and Now, the title song.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was grabbing coffee and I went down to St. Mary's College and I was walking around by the river, you know, and I'm just whoa. I'm like I can see like this song could be in a movie. You know,
feels like
like the kids are
soundtrack. Yeah.
running out of the hallway for the summer and they're
That's such a big thing for me personally.
Wally wants every song to be a movie.
I want to be transported somewhere, whether
Sure.
it's a
Yeah.
period in my life,
Yeah.
whether it's a movie that I can visualize, or a scene, or just even an emotion. And there's some songs that do that. Here Now does a very good job of taking you somewhere.
Sure.
Y'all are, every
Yeah.
one of y'all are like the profundity of this conversation.
There you go with the big words again.
Firing on all
When he
Very,
said
yeah.
when he said
very
he,
loquious group of individuals.
Another big
when
word.
he said he wanted to be transported, I was like, you should buy a scooter.
speaking of scooters.
I am a-
Yeah.
Let's talk about Skies, because it's an emotionally charged song.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful song. And, you know, one of the things that in talking to you guys, like you said, you know, let's fucking go. Let's just break all the rules and do the thing for us. You brought in Hannah Smith, who is, she's a
Phenomenal.
Multi-instrumentalist.
well, she plays the violin, the viola, and the
Great.
cello. She's fantastic. She's not just a great musician. She's also a super awesome person.
Yes.
So you had an idea to
Yeah.
bring Hannah in to lay down strings.
Yes.
Congrats on the baby.
Yeah, yay. For Skies, and Tell me what that was like.
Probably one of the best experiences I think we've ever experienced.
Yeah.
Amen.
I had the joy to work with her one-on-one, but with an extension of these guys, of
Sure.
course, being like caveats, or the caveat is that they were basically like, let's go, like do this. Da, 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 da. I don't know if it was me or somebody. I think I said I think the song needs strings. I think it needs strings.
It was
or-
you.
Was it?
Yeah.
And I think I talked to you about it,
Yep.
and I was like, and you're like Hannah, and I was like, is that can we do that? And then, significantly enough, she came highly recommended from Doc Lawn too,
Right.
Because he sent me a song a few months back to mix that she played strings on, and I was like, who is that? He's like, oh, I'm Hannah Smith, and I was like, and then you told me, oh, that's the the cat that did the Beatles show. I was like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I think I shot the idea that these guys have strings on it, and we went for it. I had a few conversations with her over the phone while I was on a pseudo vacation out to St. Louis, and singing parts to her over the phone,
Right.
like ideas that you guys had, ideas that I had, and like we finally did the WhatsApp thing, and then we had a meeting, right? We bought her. No, we bought her in at some point, and.
God bless her.
I gave her a
God
warning.
bless
I gave
her.
her a warning ahead of time.
God bless her. Yeah.
Meanwhile, she's backstory for those out there. Like she's
like
8.5
9 months
pregnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Pregnant AF.
What a trooper, man.
but I mean, I have a dog named Jet, and she walked through the door, and Jet went. Phew, and she was like, "You're gonna be a good boy." Like she just commanded
Yes,
the room
100%.
super quick.
Yes.
So we sat down with her, and she had a notebook, and we were singing ideas to her, and
All of
taking
us.
all of us. I was
then
like, "Boys, be on your best behavior." Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I picked up the cello, right? I started playing it behind my head.
Oh my
right?
God.
Yeah.
She's like,
So-
put that down.
She actually took your ideas and went and did an arrangement for Skies.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a phenomenal
She's
She
a
arrangement.
did an
whole range.
arrangement. She came in to the studio with we started to cut the tracks. Her and I, it's like 12 o'clock on a Monday or something like that. We started cutting the tracks, and I'm sitting there. I got my notes out, and I didn't even ask her. And I'm sitting there. I'm like writing it. So I'm gonna use your
Sure, go ahead.
I'm sitting there like, okay, so that B flat, blah, blah, blah. She's like, well, like literally 30 minutes, and she's like, well, I got sheet music right here. I was like, what? So I went and grabbed. It was like 20 pages of sheet music. So
Yeah.
spread it out on the console, and I had to like dust off the old like sight reading. I was like,
Better
cool.
Hold on to that, by the way.
Oh, here. Funny you mentioned that. The second session, it took two nights to record Skies.
Correct.
Which when you hear it, it's one person playing four. I think. Excuse me, Hannah, if I got this wrong. I think there's 4 different parts.
Violin 1, violin
One and
2,
viola,
and cello. Right.
And the cello had to be recorded twice because there was actually 2 parts. She was actually hitting power
Sounding.
chords on the cello. I was
Wow.
like, that sounds like.
Gigantic.
Anyways, I know, right? It was like
Metal.
She did it in 2 sessions. The second session, she came by. She's like, "Oh, I got a little gift for you." She reaches in a bag, and she has like show the picture. It's the Skies sheet music.
Yeah.
It says arranged by HydraFX,
That's awesome.
Hannah Smith, and Justin Miles. Or a HydraFX song arranged by Hannah and Justin Miles. And it's really just I almost cried like because I was like,
I did.
What?
I did. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, we all
she's-
cried at some point. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep.
We heard the test run of her just at her house. She did a bunch of demos back and forth, and like first time I saw this guy tear up. First time I saw this guy tear up. Him and I have cried on each other's
Yeah.
shoulders. 100
Cried
times.
3 times since I've been here.
You came in to sit in on a session, and I was really big on that one chord. I'm not gonna say what
Yeah.
it is, but there was a certain
Yeah,
chord.
give the Nuggets away.
Yeah, I don't want to give the Nuggets away, but I shouted from the rooftops. I was like, it's gotta happen.
Yeah.
This has gotta happen. It's this note. It's this note. And the first time she played that, I started bawling. I'm behind the console trying to be professional, and she's in the room like, "Gotcha, didn't I?" Yeah.
And I'm
She knew.
sitting. I'm
And
sitting.
then you
in the-
came in halfway through.
I'm
a
sitting in
pro.
the back, and I'm
Absolute
like,
pro.
I'm trying not to lose it. I mean, just every single hair on my body was just standing up on
Very
end.
moving.
You know, just. But what a cool thing to have that thought and not say, "Well, it was just a thought," but actually say, "We're gonna do this.
We're gonna pull the trigger on this one.
Yeah.
We're
Oh,
gonna
That's-
go
we
for
did.
it all
We
the
pulled
way.
all the stops, man.
When you
Yes.
showed the sheet music that she put together, and you physically looked at it, it was like, I cannot believe this is real life right now. Like,
Yeah.
this is stuff that you think you would want to do in the future, but you need like $1 billion record exact budget, you know, and
Yeah.
You hear strings a lot on like modern rock music. I mean, like one of our favorite bands is Fuel. I'm sure everyone watching this podcast knows the song "Shimmer"
Right.
by Fuel,
Yeah.
which is a huge inspiration for Skies for me. Afterwards, I'm like, I think every time we do a song, we're like, that sounds
Unknowingly?
unknowingly,
Yeah.
subconsciously,
Yeah.
something's. I
Yeah.
told him the other day, I was like, here's a mix of Skies. I listened to Fuel on the way home. He was like, 100% dog, let's go. I hear it.
That
Yeah.
And they have, you know, the part of
And
The guitar
fact that-
part?
go ahead.
the guitar part was not. It didn't sound like a guitar part to me when I first wrote it.
Oh wow.
That
Okay.
guitar part sounded like a strings part, and that high guitar part the whole time actually bugged me because of the way it sounded. I was
Wow.
like, this could be anything else, maybe a strings part. That works so much
Yeah.
better in the mix now. It sounds so good.
And I was
Yeah.
hearing that one. I was hearing one thing as a cello part too. So my mind was like in that one part. I was like, I hear this do 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 as like a cello part.
And the fact that, like, again, that you went and got a person and not relied on, you know, a synth or a
keyboard or-
keyboard
yeah.
or something of, you know, whatever. You went and actually got a musician, and you know, man, what's cool about this is maybe another artist in the future is like, hey, I'd really want to would like to have strings and X song or whatever.
Sure.
And they go out and visit their local symphony and recruit somebody to do it. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be Hannah. She's super dope.
We
And
could have easily done that too. We
recommend-
could have easily gotten like a quartet to come in, and,
Right.
And I think it costly. It was going to
Well,
be
yeah.
a
Yeah.
little bit more.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
time. We were actually working race time for
Yes.
two reasons. One, we had to get the album out.
Yeah.
Second, because Hannah was pregnant.
Right. Hannah
So-
Yeah.
Hannah just had a baby. So
Wow,
Yeah.
what amazing.
Yeah.
But she did a great job, man.
real instruments.
Yes.
She laid down like 12, probably 16 tracks.
that's awesome.
And it took, I think Skies
That's
took
so many.
a total of 3.5, 4 hours just to record her.
Wow.
And we
Blown
loved
away.
every second of it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We cannot wait for you guys to hear it.
I think it was really cool. As a side note on that, Justin laid out the chairs. He laid out the chairs and the way he mic'd the room in a particular fashion.
Uh-oh, he's giving
It
away
was
the
as
secrets,
if
Miles.
as
He's
was
giving
as
away the
if
secrets.
you could probably Google this, but I mean,
Yeah.
I thought he did a brilliant job of arranging chairs to kind of get this quartet feeling. And the way the takes were done. So there's thought. There's literally thought in everything we did.
Well, yeah.
There's so much thought we did in every piece of this album.
It's you know, it sounds it.
Yeah.
Can I tell a really
Do
last little
it.
snip? Last little snip.
Yeah.
Sure.
Me and it was my turn. Miles called me. He he was like, "It's time to do your stuff." We get to. I don't remember. I do remember what song it was on, but there was a single, and this is a testament to how picky we all are, how he is, how good his ear is.
Uh-huh.
We're sitting down, and he's like, "Man, this one note is just a little too much." And I was like, "Dude, it's my guitar. I don't know what to do." And we came up with the idea. We raised one of the poles on the pickups and lowered one of the poles, a single pole on a pickup to get the sound that we wanted. And sure enough, it worked.
Wow, dude.
Never would have thought of that. Outside us, also have never seen that. And I watched documentaries out the wazoo. That's
Wow.
the first
My
time
bass
I've ever
was
seen
rumbling. My bass had this thing where it was like kind of getting this harmonic thing. So we like stuffed a shirt or we stuffed a rag and like we stuffed a rag in
Oh,
like one of the
yeah.
strings, so
The
you
ting-tings
wouldn't
up
hear the
top?
other
Yes.
strings ring. So because it was kind of picking up these extra harmonics
Wow.
or something. So I played
you
with
get the
my,
rag from?
I
That's
played
what
with,
everyone
it
wants
was
to know.
like some piece of cloth or something I put on the B string. We did all these little stuff.
I
you
think
know?
I sat behind you for one of the songs. I was like, "Don't move."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You-
if this is the back of the bass, I started doing this.
Yeah.
Like, and
yeah,
it just
yeah.
rumbled. Like we just did some
Weird,
crazy
fun,
shit. I got an
cool
old school like clean up on aisle 6 microphone that got quite a bit of love on this album.
Yeah.
Never
Miles from the
thought.
main office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to the main office, the principal.
It's
It's a
Speaker we
principal
use.
microphone.
Yeah.
And it literally sounds like that. Like, yeah, I need you to bump
Mr.
up
Belding
the-
here.
Yeah.
Mr. Belding.
He used it. I think I used it.
That speaker, that piece of dog shit PA
That Gunny
gave us?
Shout out
Yeah.
to Gunny.
Gunny.
It goes
Oh
from
yeah,
the
we
head
used one of
to
your
this
speakers,
cab,
Gunny.
and it's just cool. It gives this one part in one of the songs this trashy aesthetic. It's cool, man.
We
You
were
gotta
doing
hear it.
some really cool stuff, man. I
Trash
think
aesthetic.
I had a session with Daniel from Pink Dream, and he's phenomenal. His ear is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And him and I could sit for days and talk about.
Sure.
Actually, him and I need to get together soon. But he was like, "This hallway, your staircase sounds really cool," and You know, we were talking about blanketing things. He said whatever makes it work. Just it might not look aesthetically pleasing. He's like, but at the end of the day, this is what you're taking him on an adventure. Like he said, use this. And if he hadn't said that to me, probably wouldn't have done all the stuff that we did on this album.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Isn't it exciting? That stuff's so exciting. Though.
It's just like little things that if you really pay attention to what other people say, you're like, it just goes like that.
Yeah, 100%. And you know,
without realizing it, you know.
Sure.
Till later.
Sure. And you know, this whole thing started because you guys were inspired by, you know, your peers,
100%.
right? And now you're
day,
doing
every
the
day.
same thing.
Absolutely.
You will be doing the same thing.
We're hoping to
You
get
are and will be. Yeah.
we're hoping to get on some local original shows.
That would be
100%.
awesome. Dope.
We love doing
See it,
covers.
you want that feeling. That's what you want.
I mean, we love doing covers. We love playing music for people, but we don't want to just be known for that
Sure.
as well.
I mean, what you guys do, and he and I have had this conversation. You're entertainers, right? When you are playing on a Saturday night at, you know, pick a spot, local spot, you're entertaining people.
Yeah.
This
Sure.
is here. This is your heart. This is your baby, right?
Corazón.
Corazón. Yes.
Mijo.
So, what was the influence for Skies, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I mean it's a. You don't have to answer these questions right in the song, anyways.
Well, we didn't have any. You didn't have any lyrics. None of us. You.
Skies
there
just
was-
had those parts written, and then the lyrics kind of came after. But
This song was kind of like pre-made, the music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pre-made, headed up to the cabin. I think me and Justin were like, I don't know what it is about this song. It's just really powerful. I like this.
Something we were making a connection without making a connection.
Right.
Sure.
Like
And
we're
then-
like, I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling this way. Like something's.
Then we kind of, you know, do like a little cabin track of it, and sitting around with him eating some of his quiche, and he was like, "Hey man," it was right before we were about to leave to come home, and he was like, a friend of ours, Derek Weaver, took his own life. I'm sure if you're watching this, you might know who he is. If you don't, he was an excellent friend of ours, an incredible musician, and an inspiration himself. And he stuck with us ever since, you know. And Sean saying that, it was like a just something lodged in my brain, and it would not leave. And it would just not go away. So when we left the cabin, it was like a 4-hour drive home. I stopped in front of a fucking Noodles and Company because I had to pee. And I was inspired. I was so inspired by him saying that. Obviously, listening to all the shit we were doing in the cabin, that I just scribbled out half of the song in the parking lot there, burst out into tears. It was something that
Called me.
yeah,
Called me right afterwards.
Justin, this is the best hook of this song ever.
Yeah.
I think
And
you wrote it.
just
You
felt right.
called me and you said I think you wrote you had the chorus. You
Yeah.
were like,
And it
you're like,
hasn't
hey,
changed.
you're like, don't say anything, don't say anything. I'm crying on the side of the road. Stop the noodles.
Do I need to turn around?
No, he was fine. And then he called. Like I think it was that night. He called me and he was like, check this out. Don't say anything. You said now that you're gone, and
Yeah, and
I'm on the deck with my dog like crying, like. It was,
and it was like if it really speaks to you, I said if there's any one of these that really seems like it's right, because we had a lot of all these different songs, a lot of different ideas, but this one particularly kind of lent itself, and we were like, man, this one seems like it's got this thing to it, and I guess
it
Greg,
feels like Derek.
yeah,
It
Greg
felt-
had
this
this.
was this was intentionally written for our friend, and
and others,
not
and others.
I mean, and then ended up kind of
Yeah.
being, if this a piece of this can help anybody else out,
Yeah.
and not doing that, or if you just need somebody to talk to, or and just for the conversation to come up, it's the only thing we can do is raise awareness for it, and we weren't trying to do that with the song. It wasn't like a formulaic thing
It
we
just-
were doing. It just poured out.
Yeah,
It-
it happened
So if
organically.
this,
Yes.
if this helps somebody, that would mean the world to us too.
And I will tell you, this was not my plan to go down this rabbit hole, but when you recorded, I mean, the song, the drums, you did the bass, the guitars, everything. You did the piece with Hannah, and then you went in and you recorded, or the vocals, right? And at the end of the session, it's typical. Justin will send out the songs and like, listen to what we did, blah, blah, blah. And I put it on in the car as I was driving to work, and holy shit, I lost it. I had to do the noodles. I had to pull over, and I'm sitting there like ugly crying, just tears down my face, and I can't catch my breath, and I'm like, wow, this song it's a beautiful song, but
Thank you.
At that moment it spoke volumes to me. Like, it made me feel like, not to sound corny, but it made me feel like you were there with me, like, hey, it's okay,
Yeah.
And I was having a particularly rough week that week, with, I said it during, when I was talking to Lindsay Digman, I suffer from depression and anxiety, and I heard that song and I was like, it feels like a warm hug.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unfiltered honesty behind every part of that
Yes.
song.
And it's kind of like,
Word.
and it's kind of like when I always find the best writing is like when you're really singing and talking about things that you know and experienced. I had a guy years and years ago when I started playing guitar. He said, you may play the blues, but you don't really wait till you live a little bit. You'll know the blues. It's like when you have that in your life, and that to me is the best writing, when it's something honest like that. We're not writing about fancy cars or trying to have a mansion or something, right? We're writing about things in our life that impacted us that we want to share.
I mean, I think we get to this level of adulthood, I would say, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
this
Still
is
a
the most meaningful project I've ever been a part of in my life.
Yeah.
Same.
Seriously, it
It's
just
therapeutic.
unintentionally too. It
Yeah.
just came pouring out. It's like,
Yeah.
Look, we better
we
do
just-
this again. This better not be the one
Yeah.
time.
Well,
this is our last podcast.
no, I think
I'll find you.
I want 20 tracks. I want 20 tracks.
I love what you said. It was Skies was organic.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sure, you'll probably have one or two people out there, blah blah blah. They know me. I'm like devil's advocate once in a while, and it's true. They're like, oh, they wrote that song because of that. No, it like he said, it just felt like we couldn't find it. We couldn't find it, and there he goes.
Yeah.
And what did you say? It's this album, that song especially is honest. What?
Brutal honest.
Yeah.
Brutal
Unfiltered
honesty, unfiltered,
honesty.
brutal
Yeah.
honesty.
No, and I said that not
With
too
some
long.
structure, obviously.
Sure,
There's a lot of people
of
that
course.
unfiltered, you just go in and
Of
play.
course, but
Yeah.
honesty doesn't mean that you're just shooting from the hip, right?
Sure.
And I said this not too long ago. Just how honest it is. It is very honest. The whole album is, but that song in particular, yeah. I remember the second verse of the song. I'm in the car. This is like the third listen, and now I'm running down south to go get my morning fix, my coffee. And I'm listening to it, and I'm still crying, but I'm driving. And you get to that one part in the second verse.
Pick up the phone.
It was actually
one
about
minute.
another
Right.
another friend of mine who was actually going to join this band a while ago. His name was actually how me and Wally reconnected, to be honest. This guy named Justin Harris. And long story short, he called me. My kids were young. They were right next door. He just wanted to say it was my birthday. He said, happy birthday. And I was like, sorry, I'm hitting the F you button. My kids are next door. I'll call you in the morning. He did the same thing. And that was kind of my ode to him. It says, pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Just 1 minute to say that you're not okay.
Yeah.
And I wish
Yeah.
I wish I had. So it just I mean, they can't all be,
No, it's-
songs about beer and titties.
No. Well,
It's so true, though.
there's a lot of people who make a lot of money doing that shit,
Yeah.
but that's not what interests me. What interests me is
You don't like beer and titties?
no, actually, I love them. No. Anyway,
Whining.
Sorry. Good. Sorry.
I prefer my music to hit me
Yeah.
right here, rather than just the superficial and the blah blah blah, And when that lyric came up, because this was the third listen, I was actually listening with intent. I was listening to the lyrics. First, I was listening to like the strings and the melodies and all of that, and then I'm like, no shit, intently listening to the lyrics. And at one point, I hit the steering wheel and I said, "Fuck you, Greg Barrick."
Phrase
I
I've heard
every
many
day.
times.
Cry like this. I
I
was.
say that all the time.
No, it was-
said that. We
Jay
say that-
Simpson's over there
we
doing
say that- we say
saying
that- we say
this
that once
right
a
now to
week.
Greg
We
Barrick.
say that once a week. He was
Tragedy, a word that you hear, but you never want to believe. Weight of the world on your heart slips away. What to say? So sad to me. You feel no other way could give you some reprieve. Is anyone listening? You know it's not the way. Now that you're gone. What can I do? Can I break through to yourself? I stay so long. Don't feel ashamed, feeling the pain that you felt. We'll catch up next time. Somewhere in the skies, and I need you to know. Pick up the phone, 1 minute to say that I'm not okay. You're not alone. Don't fight this on your own. Now that you're gone, what can I do? Can I break through to yourself? I say so long, and don't feel ashamed, feeling the pain that you felt. We'll catch up next time, somewhere in the skies, and I need you to know. Now that you're gone, what can I do? Can I break through to yourself? I say so long. Don't feel ashamed, feeling the pain that you felt. We'll catch up next time, somewhere in the skies, and I need you to know. I need you to know. Hey.
I avidly believe. I believe completely to my core. Look, I can't speak for everybody here, but I feel like when you do something, when you're doing it for yourself specifically, and you really love what you're doing, it'll speak volumes through whatever that thing is going to be. And
Sure.
I think all of us can't speak for the guys, but me personally, I wanted to do this for myself.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do this for anyone listening.
And there's
or-
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
No.
I wanted to make beautiful songs for me that I really enjoy.
Absolutely.
And I hear that, I'm like, oh yeah, this song's so good. This song's so good. That
Yeah.
part's so good. And I'm also I hear these guys, I think, thinking through the song the same way. I hear them coming through the song in the same fashion. I'm like, God, I'm proud of these guys. Damn it.
That's awesome.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
No, that's
all the time.
So this was the right moment to make this album. Definitely with this lineup of HydraFX.
Amen. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a good way to put that, isn't it? Yeah.
I can't, like me and this clown over here on the far left.
Can he be nice?
I was going to say which clown, because you got
Specify. We've been fans of each other for as long as I can remember, probably over 15 years. And
yeah.
he used to put out a CD. I remember calling you up and Matt. Okay, so this track. What about you? Remember that?
Yeah.
And so we've been fans of each other and championing that word
Championing,
each other
yeah.
for a long time, and
Sure.
to actually get to like be in a not just covers, but like to write music together.
Write
That's
music
something I
is
never
been-
thought would ever happen.
Ever?
I'm
No.
glad it's about time. Damn it.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're the newbie, and just for people who don't
I am
know,
the new
if you
guy.
live under a rock, you're the newbie of the band.
I was
Going on
the new,
2
I
years
was
now.
The, I was a new guy for about 2 years.
He's still a new guy.
I was a new guy twice.
for like the first
I heard that
I was a
story.
new guy twice.
for the first year
Divorced and
for like
remarried.
literally the first year, Greg would introduce me as the new guy, and he did that for like the entire year. He's like, he just joined 3 months ago. I was like, Greg, I've been here for a year. He just joined 3 months ago. Give it up for him. 3 months. Greg,
You
it's
gotta
been
keep
2
that
years.
going. You got to keep it
Right
going.
into
He
the
was like,
sunset.
dude, Justin literally came in last week.
Yeah.
Santa Rita.
We're playing right when he starts, and then we come back to the same place a year later, and he's still saying the same thing.
I know.
Yeah.
Get up for the new guy. I got a new
Give
bass
it up
player.
for the new
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah.
We just saw this band a year ago.
It's our 20-year reunion, Greg. What the hell are you talking about?
Got to keep milking it.
Yeah.
Keep it interesting.
All right, so let's move on. We dove right into the album, but I did want to ask you guys about your influences, your personal influences. You know, who are some of your musical influences?
Carlos Simpson.
Oh, shut up!
Carla Simpson.
Carlos
Shut
Simpson.
up!
Carlos Simpson.
Shot down.
Yeah.
Hey.
Do you want this in like a rapid fire format?
Yeah.
Sure, whatever you want to do.
Jesus.
311, most definitely. Bob Marley, 100%. I love Pantera.
Right on.
Big fan of like Ministry.
Yeah, let's go.
That whole Prince. I mean, there's just like this collection of
Yeah.
of music that my relatives and my mom and my dad all had different influences, and that's the amalgamation, if you will, of what I
Word. Love it.
I love a little bit of everything. Not
Yeah.
a big country fan
Yeah.
at all, except for Randy
He
Travis.
says that, but then sings every lyric to every country song that comes on
I've
the radio.
seen this guy be
Man.
like,
Yeah.
I don't fucking do country, and then he plays.
Randy Travis comes on and
No,
he's like,
what's his
"Oh,
name?
yeah."
Chris Gaines. Oh, not Chris
Garth
Gaines.
Brooks.
Garth
Plays
Brooks.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And he'll sing the whole song.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
like, yeah. He doesn't like country.
I've never heard this in my. If you lock your door and turn them loud.
He's had a few achy breaky hearts.
But yeah, I'm a hodgepodge.
Sean?
Yeah, same. I mean, my taste has always been eclectic. So it's like everything from like, you know, growing up with guitar, it was like, you know, Hendrix and all the guitar players. Love the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
You know, so Hendrix, Chili Peppers, Incubus, Tyler Childers. If we're gonna do country, I'll do just
Sure.
about. I do have a pretty wide net when I listen to everything. So.
Tyler Childress is pretty fucking dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Kay, I love a good singer songwriter. I love a guy who just tells a story. I love that stuff.
Yes.
But then I'll listen to also like Pink Floyd. Love Pink Floyd. So it's
Yeah.
like anything. It's like
And
about
for
anything.
those people who don't know, Sean is actually a really good guitar player. Like
Super
you
good.
fucking rock the guitar, man.
Thank you, Carla.
Yeah. You
Can't
blew-
play a bass for shit.
I can't.
No,
no
stop
idea how to
that.
play the bass. Yeah.
Stop that.
He was the
No,
highlight of the Pink
that.
Floyd
He
show.
pulled that. The comfortably
went,
numb
"Ooh."
solo.
All three of us were like,
Right. This
And
guy
the crowd
plays
was
the
like,
bass.
Yeah.
You're
You're making all
fantastic.
faces.
Well, thank
man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wally.
My childhood of music is super. It's all based on my mom
Yeah.
for the most part. They had a group of CDs. My mom used to cook and listen to things. Could
Right
take me
on.
right back to every one of those songs. You guys ever watched the movie Practical Magic?
Yeah.
Yes.
My mom had that CD in her CD player for years.
That one had
end.
like Sarah McLachlan
Yeah,
and
a
like
lot of good
yeah.
tunes on it. I remember stealing CDs from my dad's CD player. He had Black Crows,
Right on.
So,
the one that had Hard to Handle on it.
Yeah.
Right? That
Shake Your
CD.
Money Maker.
Shake Your Money Maker.
Yeah, some old Van Halen. One of the albums I probably blew out the most was 10 by Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
Oh,
great
Dope.
I grew up skateboarding.
Wow.
I didn't have a lot of CDs, so I put that in the CD player, and I just skated in my garage for 2 or 3 years, probably with 2 or 3 CDs, that being one of them. The other one being Better Days, Tupac. Shout out.
Wow.
let's go, dog.
Dude.
Thug's Mansion. So,
Molly grew up in that Thugs Mansion.
yeah. Just everything. It's the same.
I think we all listen to everything.
Yeah,
pretty
no,
much.
I-
There's almost no home.
Favorite
Right.
band's Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I love soul music.
Yeah.
2 other.
Yeah.
favorites, but yeah.
You're a big Motown guy.
I love Motown.
Yeah.
Love Motown.
Man, you have
Big
to
fan.
ask us next week. It'll be different.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm 100%. But again, that translates into not only the music that you entertain us with, you know, when you play on Saturdays and Friday nights, but in this album as well.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
You
absolutely.
hear, I mean, I hear a little bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers in some of your bass lines. You know, I'm hearing some David Gilmour in some of your guitar licks. You
One
know,
of the best. One
It's
of the
just-
best to write a solo of all time.
100%. So it shows,
Yeah.
Yeah.
sir.
I mean, I could sit here 3 hours later. I could go on about
We'll do it.
what
3.
bands, you know, and this is not a jab at anybody in life, but usually when people are like, well, what kind of music you like, and then start rapping off bands and stuff like that. For me, it's from the core of my being. It's got I love music that moves you.
Yeah.
You introduced me. I know I'm old to this. I'm like, why now? But you introduced me to like you and Jay. Bring Me the Disco Queen.
Yeah.
You know, by David Bowie, and that moved me. You know, I'm like, fuck, dude. I'm a dancer too, so
Yeah.
I think what's the first thing that dancers rely on besides feel? They rely on music, right?
Sure.
So, growing up in a house, my mom's a dance teacher. Everybody knows that. There was always like disco or like Earth, Wind and Fire being played. A lot of
Right
Motown,
on.
a lot of Motown. So I pinpoint my existence in the world with a connection to music that moves you.
Yeah.
I can be specific about styles, but I love hip hop. I love like the good, clean hip hop, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking like Tribe Called Quest, Tupac,
Far Side.
you know, Far Side, and digital.
Diggable Planets.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rest Development, The Roots.
Yeah.
Like that stuff. Not the
That has to be-
that's not hip hop.
And-
I don't,
and we-
whatever
yeah,
this stuff
we-
is that the kids listen to now. That
Get it.
I don't.
Whatever these young kids.
I don't get it. I think it's made. I get it. The beats are dope, and like,
Yeah.
or people think the beats are dope. I need something that has like, you know, like give me
Sure.
that all day long.
You like groove.
All
You're
day
a
long.
groove person.
Groove.
Groovy.
Can I
Yeah.
kick it?
Yes, I can.
Can I kick it?
Yes, I can.
Get them going. Get them going.
So,
Just
anyways,
mode.
it's just a feel thing. But like, that's why like every song that we play has some kind of nice groove to it, even if it's just like. I was thinking about this. You're talking about Motown, so the ride out on Here and Now. One of our
Oh
songs
yeah.
is it's Motown.
Yeah.
Was that the one I was like,
Sugar pie, honey bun.
100%.
So all these little young punks out there playing drums, they're going, "Oh yeah, I'm doing." Like they don't realize that they're actually playing a Motown beat.
Yeah.
I know you wanna leave me,
Yeah.
but I refuse. to
Now speed it
let
up.
you
Go.
I'll speed it up.
Fell in love with the girl at the rock show.
Yeah. So, anyways, there's a little nuggety lesson for you out there, but yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna steal
the
this
generation that is now should always look back and tip the hat and thank the generation before them as far as musical styles go.
100%.
There should never not the you know what like Amateur Hour, Miles, your son Miles, they love the stuff that just from back in the day.
Oh yeah.
You know, these guys in their 20s are like loving all this stuff. Like they're turning back the clock.
100%.
The people that stay in their own lane, like I know a lot of cats that love Harry Styles. Harry Styles got some great music.
He does.
But if you go and watch some interviews with him, guess what he's doing?
Oh, he's listening to Stevie Nicks. He's
He did a Sledgehammer.
That's right.
Howard Stern was like,
That's
"What's your
right.
favorite song?" And the
he
whole
said,
band
yep.
looked at each other and went, "Da-da-da-da-da-da."
Right.
And like all these young kids are like on TikTok going, "What's this song? What's this?"
Sure.
No offense to them, but they're literally turning the clock back and they're going, "Oh,
But
I
mean,
didn't know about this."
Right, but
Pioneers.
I don't know how it was for you,
Pioneers,
but
thank you.
I did the same thing. You know, I mean, for me, music, when I started developing my musical taste was in the 80s.
No.
So it was 80s music, The Police, Talking Heads, name 1,000 bands.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't until I was 10, 11, going into my teenage years that I was like, David Bowie, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
because I was listening to what was in front of me, and then some of my parents' stuff as well.
Sure.
And I was aware of it, and I liked it, and I grooved to it, but it wasn't like
Did you
mine.
hair metal? Were you a hair metal?
I was.
Did you listen to Vixen?
I did.
Awesome.
My aunt was in that band.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We played with them at Ocean City. Like,
Close up on his face.
Weird.
What?
Weird facts.
Yeah.
Weird facts.
Did you get
my
that?
Aunt Tammy was in the movie that they did. They were in a movie. For a
Wait,
little while.
what?
Yeah.
No, I knew this story, but go ahead.
Tamara Ivanov.
No, yeah,
That's
now
my
you
Aunt
have to
Tammy.
tell it.
Yeah, okay. So
Okay,
she,
your aunt plays.
She played bass.
Okay.
She played bass for Vixen.
Which is why he loves bass
She was also a singer for the band for, I think, 3 years, 2 or 3 years. And she actually gave me my first guitar. So,
Shout out.
I wrote.
Shout out Aunt Tammy.
I wrote on a napkin. My family's all in California, but
Uh-huh.
I wrote on a napkin when she gave me my guitar. I wrote, "I love you and thank you for music," whether she still has that or not.
music.
That's cool.
Yep.
Thank you for music.
We
Yep.
should call up Tammy. We should call up Aunt Tammy.
I called her a couple months ago.
should
Oh, I
call
called her when I went to go play with Vixen.
That's
Turns
true,
out that
yeah.
breakup didn't go too well.
Oh shit, dude.
I had to listen to a
Ixnay
rant
on
for a
the
couple hours.
Ixnay.
But yeah. But no, you said you were 80s, and I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
You did the hair metal.
So,
And I
no,
was like,
and-
okay.
Well, younger, it's like I said, it started with like the Police and a lot of that, the bands that were on MTV at the time, because that was the place where we got our
yeah.
music, right? Well, when I moved to California, then it was like, I was listening to Motley Crue and Skid Row and Vixen and Stryper and Guns N' Roses, you name it, And then from there, then it was Metallica and Slayer and
The
I'm
gateway drug after gateway.
100%, 100. So I'm like you guys, where I'm rocking out to Mozart, one song, and then the next one I'm like, listening to, I don't know, Tribe
Get
Called
Back.
Quest or right,
Got a groove to it.
absolutely, and everything,
ain't wrong.
everything in between. 10 for the longest time was one of my favorite albums. I mean, it still
front to
is.
back.
Was it in your
Perfect.
top 10?
Oh, jeez.
That's a whole
Front to
separate
back, almost
podcast.
perfect. I have a few group of albums that are front to back almost perfect, and that one is almost perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark Side of the
Every
Moon.
song is so
Dark
good.
Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
100%.
Here now. Sorry, what?
Here now. Here now.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Here now.
Front to back, baby.
Front to back. It's true. No, the album is one. Don't just listen to Rooftops. Don't just listen to Skies. From the first song to the last song, the album is a great listen. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's just not one song over the other that isn't like, I could hear this on the radio, and then I hear the next one, and I'm like, I can hear that on the radio, and then I hear the next one, I'm like, oh, that could be in a movie. It's just, man, what a great gift you guys have given us. What a
Aw.
great gift.
Thank you, Carla.
There's the one song that I will say that it was your idea. You
can't
called
believe-
it. We called it. What was the working title?
Eyes.
Mark
my
my
words.
words.
Mark my words,
words.
or mark my word. And it's been a lot of these. We only kept a few. We got a dry erase board at the studio.
Yep.
That other bands have come in. Maldar came in when they were doing some sessions. And they're like, man, this is. Aaron was sitting there. He looks at the dry erase board and goes, Man, that's fucking cool, man. That's more like Jake. Jake said that, and then Aaron was like, that's fucking cool shit, man.
They all made fun of me, but everybody else likes it. Just
Because you're OCD.
I am.
you're-
Yeah. At first
you
we
know.
were like, we could do that, but then, like all the other bands are coming and going, that's a great idea, you know?
oh no, right.
We had some working titles. We had like, we kept like Home
Yeah.
for one. Mark My Word is probably the most, God.
Eclectic?
Eclectic. Yeah. So you had this idea of making like almost like this musical, I hate to call it musical theater, but it's very musical
Yeah.
theatre-esque.
It's a
That's
journey.
right.
Driven.
It's a journey.
And I want to call. Can I call everybody out real quick?
Sure.
Minus
Call it
maybe, but we were picking songs, picking the babies, right? And I think we came close to voting this one off. Like this was almost, and it was because we hadn't really dove into it,
Yeah.
right? But that was the main
That's me.
reason.
I was going to vote it off because I was.
Well,
Greg,
you were feeling the crunch.
Greg wanted to kill it.
And I was like, look, man, I feel it. I feel this one to my core. We got to do it. And it was Greg, I think, birthed that song for the
Yeah.
most part. If not the melody, a lot of that
Great
song.
vocal performance.
And he was about to nix it. And it was my favorite one
Shout
from
out
when
to,
we started.
Shout out to Greg. I sang a melody to him on the phone or something like one time, and his brain remembered this. And then I go back and listen to the track, and it was like pretty much.
So the
Log it
track
down.
is called, I mean, the cat's out of the biscuit
Do
now
it.
or whatever
Cats
they
out
say.
of the biscuit.
What
Biscuits
did
out of
you
the
just say?
bag. Biscuits out of the can.
Cats out of the
Biscuit.
The crab's out of the whiskey now or whatever. The song is called Serpent,
Yeah.
right? And it stemmed from
Slithery snake.
what? It's a snake.
So what's
Well,
it about? What's it
Yeah.
about?
Okay, so when I heard this song,
And make sure you do this with your shoulders.
when I
No,
first
he's doing it.
Finger
Finger
guns.
guns.
Can you finger
we
guns
got
too?
this song kind of on paper, like there was like melodies and verses and stuff like that. When I heard this song, I immediately got taken to a place where this was like a very theatrical thing where it was about this love and this cheating thing that was happening between. It was a relationship, and this dude was going around and cheating on his girlfriend, wife, whatever you want to call it, but his ex was avidly watching from the dark. And the whole song is kind of themed around that. And it was funny because I had been writing lyrics, jotting them down, and Barrick's like, I need something tangible. So, it's coming down to it, right? So, and I couldn't make it to the actual development of this, like I think the nitty gritty of this song. You three were all there to watch it kind of blossom. And I had shipped the lyrics out, and I'm like, all right, I know this is a lot. There's a lot of lyrics there, a lot of goofiness there. I come to the song the next day. I hear it. I literally hear it the next day, and I did not expect you guys to do what you did to that song.
He got a
and
little
knock
misty.
it.
It was just a little.
No,
water.
it was. It immediately took me to where I thought I had been. That was
That's
the idea,
awesome.
right? Like my idea. I had seen myself. I had seen it all play out. It's very theatrical in my brain. And then you guys went and did it. And it not only that, the lyrics matched, the feeling matched, the cadence of the song matched.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. You guys did a phenomenal job. Miles, Carla, Barrick, those knocked it out of the park. I was taking the day off.
I didn't do
my
anything.
favorite song.
Well,
Not on purpose. Not on purpose.
I thought that was funny.
I will
Sorry.
say, thank you for saving the song because again,
you were there when I was like, we got to get this one on here.
you were very passionate about saving the song, and again, when you were tracking drums and I heard it for the first time, I was like, this is super special, and I can't wait to hear where this goes.
Mm-hmm.
And never in a million years did I think that I was going to be, get to be a part of the song that I liked so much. It spoke to me from the very beginning.
You fit.
So
The
real,
crazy
just
chick,
fit.
right?
Just fits.
so real quick, we
I
were.
like how Jake's laughing his ass off.
Hell yeah, brother.
I'll tell you what he said to me yesterday about anyway.
He so wasn't originally. She was just going to come over and say a
Spoken
should I
word.
dive this deep. She'll give me-
Let's do it. Why not?
100%.
So, I mean, she was originally going to come over and do just a Spanish speaking part. And then we were cooking so hard, as we refer to it in the studio. We was Ramseying it up. It just felt like, with the whole theme he just discussed, that the second part would be a response from a woman. And we were like, Carl, you get in there and do a verse. And she's like, Justin, get in there and do a verse.
Miles just making you
I just
dive
said,
deep.
and I said, "Do you guys have lyrics for this?" And you were like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, well, I guess give me a piece of paper." And I'm
We just all
We gave you a concept though, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're-
Oh,
like, I kept
absolutely.
saying
No,
something
no,
about
no, no. Yeah,
spiders
yeah.
and
Wally had the idea for these lyrics, and the three of us just kind of caught the spirit of it and just were
Ran.
just man, it was just
And it happened like
magic.
this.
Well, I love how the universe works like that, and I know
Yeah.
a lot of us, all of us in this room are very like we're connected in
it
some way.
happen.
We let it happen with the universe.
happen.
I think that the night before, you and I were just on the steamroll, like tracking vocals.
Yeah.
This guy's a steam engine, by the way, when it comes to
Choo-choo.
tracking
Thanks,
vocals.
oh,
We
I
call
know.
him Thomas.
I'm
Wow.
tired.
I think I'll go home now.
I think I'll go home now.
Go.
So I think the night before it was like what 12:30 a.m. We're in my driveway. You're about to leave. You're like we got to do Serpent tomorrow. We're like, are we at that time it was Mark My Word. We're like mark my word, and then we were like. We talk about baseball and also we'd be like, yeah, but the second verse on this, we just kind of like, we just had no idea
Yeah.
what was happening. He shipped over the lyrics. You were going to do the Spanish part. We knew
Right.
because the song has a rock Latin kind of flair to it.
Yeah.
Go.
It's like a little bit of 311
Yep.
rock, Spanish, Latin go. Well,
Tidbit, don't you dare.
It's
Don't
a
you
banger.
dare.
that one was like,
a
get
bang.
in the water.
There's I would call
No,
that
no,
one of the
it's not like
nuggets.
it's not like that. It has an air.
Yeah.
Of that like 311 kind of like.
Yeah.
And we made a jump choice the night before. I think I texted you from my driveway. Hey, tomorrow I'm going to work. Can you come over and do the thing? Yeah, cool. I think we went and sing on this too. We didn't know how.
No, I didn't know I was singing until I
Wait.
got there.
Oh.
I thought
Yeah, it was like just
Yeah.
Spanish speaking.
Welcome to
part.
Yeah,
HydraFX.
Right.
We
That's
called.
exactly
We
what all
called.
of
We
us
said,
do.
Carla, can you come play trumpet on this? Carla says, I can't play a lick of trumpet. She said, but I can sing. I said, Carla, come on over here.
Gets in the loud room and says,
We had Sean try to do a trumpet, just his mouth trumpet.
Yeah,
but it didn't quite
I couldn't
work.
know.
it didn't go. No,
It's
just-
just
terrible.
Sean's credit here.
Yeah.
This whole the chord, obviously the hook. Like we were. I remembered something he said probably at the cabin. To be honest with
Maybe.
you,
Something like that.
It was she's a serpent, and then I was like under the surface, and we were kind of playing off of that, and he forgot about it.
Yeah.
And then we were
He's
there.
great at that.
I know. I would call if I had an idea. It'd be like 2:00 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. Greg, it's like it's a serpent or something. I'd just like hum a line to him and say a couple words, right?
Well-
And then Greg's mind it gets stuck somewhere in his brain. It travels through his frontal
It gets
cortex,
stuck.
It never
down
leaves.
his amygdala, down
Hotel
his
California
down
out
his
there.
spinal fluid, and comes out of his larynx.
Go ahead. This is what I'm talking about, man. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
I will say that Sean and Wally, you weren't there, but
We were there
we
in
had
spirit.
you were there in spirit, of course, but Greg is writing what you had. He's writing it down, and Greg was like, I hear the serpent thing, like I want it to be like this, and you started doing that bit, and it was quick. I mean,
That's what she said.
it was a real process. It was a real quick process.
yeah, it was like
Keep running. Was that on the lyrics or did I just shout that
no,
out?
he.
Or you said
Greg,
something about keep running?
Greg
or,
was like, I keep hearing
My run
this.
there was completely different.
like we cut some stuff out.
Yeah,
and-
I'm so glad that didn't make it.
No, we were throwing paint until we.
No, and we were like the keep running part, and then you were like running for my life, and I was like, oh, it's all wrong. You said that,
It
you're
fell
like,
in, and
Running.
Again, another organic process.
Sure.
Nothing was planned out.
Yeah.
Justin got this like his speak with his eyebrow face, like he's like,
Does that work?
Yeah.
Does that work?
It's a great song. So
Little
would
bit of
you say
everything.
that's your favorite song in this album then?
Actually, it might have just
Actually.
recently changed.
Uh-huh.
Two.
It might be here and now.
Wow.
It might be. I've heard
Wow.
the mixing recently
wow.
of it, and I've connected with the song
nice.
on a level. Some of these
Nice.
songs I haven't actually like fully like let myself be like I don't know. I'm not trying to sound too like hippie-ish, but like fully let it
It grabbed
cover
you.
me.
It
Yeah,
grabbed
yeah, or
you.
let it.
Yeah.
Cover you. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
and Hannah Smith. Back to her. She played on
On Here and Now
Here
as
and
well.
Now as
Yep.
well.
That's right.
Yeah, she actually put a little bit of fiddle in it, just enough to. It was her
That one's
idea.
got that
I said,
just-
"Go for it."
It's got things here.
Yeah.
When I
It's
see
not
it,
like Deliverance fiddle, but like,
But again, it's a great story of like where you were and where you are now.
yeah,
Right?
Sure.
It's a good message, solid message. Sean brought up a lot of these being like themed for like your life.
Yeah.
A lot of them are.
The
Yep.
biggest compliment I think we've gotten so far on this album is so obviously I'm sending out the rough cops. You know, this is our old back in the day. Like here's your tape, take it and listen to the car in your Trans Am or whatever. So he like I send it out on WhatsApp, and then not even a day later, Greg comes back and he's like, "Yeah, my girls are singing this part."
Yeah.
And then the back seat of the car, they're doing like the drum fills to that song or like singing the woes, and I'm like. Sold. Like,
Yeah, I
we
mean,
did it.
That one for me was like my litmus test of if these songs are good, and like the kids are, I'm like putting it on purpose, like watching like this,
Walking away, like
and they're like "Who's doing the thing, and then they
You have
look
a
at each other
clipboard?
and they're like this, and like just my guitar solo comes up and they're like doing that.
cool,
I'm like,
man.
That's awesome.
that's a banger. Gotta
Yeah.
keep it.
Greg does a nice little slash guitar solo.
Yes.
Everything.
I mean, we could gush.
I love it.
We could gush an entire other podcast on how much we love these songs.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for you
Okay,
guys to
but-
hear it. You know,
100%. But
I'm
let me.
about to nerd out.
I want to hear. No, if you had to pick one.
Oh,
Wally said here and
wow.
now. If you had to pick one.
oh, I quit the band.
yeah.
If I had to, I'm gonna go ahead and say Hourglass.
Oh, yeah.
And you can ask Justin Miles. I was about to burn
I
the
was
studio
so-
down on that.
I was like to take my gear and be like, "You see this?"
Like, to credit to his harkening back on his producing stuff, I just wasn't feeling it. I love the music. I just wasn't feeling it. Couldn't align the words up. Couldn't sing it right, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, "Just fuck this song, Justin." Bulldog stance.
Yeah.
And Justin's like, "Dude, see it through. Get a cookie. Nobody.
Grab a
You're not
Snickers.
yourself when you're hungry." No, he was
Betty
like,
White over
chill out. He's like, "Hey, man," and this is like one of his things that rings true when he's producing his. He's like, "You're singing it." He's like, "Perform this shit, man. Perform it. Feel it." And then once he said, "I don't know," it just unlocked it, and then there it was. It was very shortly after that that it's just cool writing too. It's like a writing style I've never done before too. It's a little, I don't want to give too much away. Buy the album.
The thing we have to remember is as musicians and any other fellow musicians out there watching, and I know the process too. When you're birthing that song, like everyone says this in the professional world, like you're birthing a baby and then you got to pick your child, whatever. The biggest thing is when you're doing vocals, and we all know this as vocalists. Especially if you just wrote the lyrics like that day,
Right.
you have to make it seem as if that song has been a part of you and is already a part of you.
Right.
You know
That's
what I
what
mean?
I'm talking about.
Yep.
And so that's the biggest thing, and anybody could take away from this, like if it's just like an epiphany you have, but when you write a song and you really want to kick it, perform it, connect to your heart. You
honesty.
got to do you got to be brutally honest and just give it everything you got.
Yep.
And that's the trouble with a brand new song. I'm
Sure.
sure everybody does that at
Still
some
trying
point.
to find your honesty.
You're still trying to find it. And these songs are still like,
Yeah.
I'm sure like a year from now, we'll be like, remember when we used to play Juice like this? That's another title of one of the songs. That was Juice.
Yeah, and it'll be something totally different.
It might,
because
yeah.
Rooftops has already changed a little bit from the record. And
Yeah.
it's not
Absolutely.
even
Yeah.
like I hear you doing little things. I hear you doing little things that are different.
messing
No, you're
I'll
not
have it
messing up.
by the time the show starts, guys. I'll have it
Wally
locked
asked
down.
me how to play it. Well, it's fighting your insecurities too, man.
Yes.
Because you're always like,
Yeah.
when you go and you're like, I've wrote this down, I have this in my head, and as soon as it comes out the first time, you're like, da, 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 da. That sucks, doesn't it? Every single time, right?
Yeah.
And then you just mold it into something that exceeds your expectations.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is this whole album on a platter shattered all of our expectations.
Something I tell my students a lot when I teach is like, make loud mistakes.
Ooh.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Make mistakes. Make loud mistakes.
I
Put
like
that
that.
on a t-shirt.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love
Do them
that.
twice.
Do them
And
twice.
and it's jazz.
It's jazz. One fusion in the back. One fusion cat in the back. Like that sounded good.
Oh, I like
what's
that
that?
note.
Look at yourself.
And
There you are. Right, Sean?
It's true.
Sometimes you look at yourself and there you are.
Justin,
Yeah. Oh,
What-
favorite
what
song?
is your favorite track on the album?
Oh, that's a toughie, man.
This man falls in love with the song on a daily basis.
Every day, every night
Every
at 3
song he
a.m. I'm like,
works on.
here's the new mix. I love all of them, but I really got to say there's a track called Home on it that I connect with. I connect with all of them.
You've been
but
in
the
a solid
biggest
connection for that
Huh?
for a while.
What's that?
You've had a solid connection with that one.
With
for a
Home,
while.
that was probably one of the first songs besides Rooftops, and I think I got a jump start on Skies. I think Home was the second song that I was telling Sean this last night. I was like, Home's kind of my baby. Like I took it and did this and experimented with it and did some really cool effects with it. I really can't wait for people to hear it. And as an engineer producer,
Yeah.
I was able to have a little bit of fun with it
Sure.
and not go too crazy. Greg kept saying 80s. There's like I can't give it all away, but there's like a really cool guitar 80s part. It just goes like that. And I really love that song for the aesthetic of what it talks about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know when I go home, I'm in a happy place. We all are when we go home.
Yeah.
But it connects with someone like myself who's toured. I know this guy's traveled. Everyone's traveled at some point around
Mm-hmm.
here. Anybody watching's traveled and been away from home. Especially if you're on a tour and you're away from home for like 6 months at a time. Like in the middle of like Lima, Ohio, where like
Right.
there's only
Straight
like
road.
one straight roads and there's just
Yeah.
like a red blinking light.
Right.
When you say, what's the lyric with the red?
It's shine so bright in the red light beams. We're chasing our dreams.
Yeah, to
Chasing
me, I
dreams.
just think of like someone might hear that and be like, okay, a red neon sign or something like that, or maybe they're
Fall
like
asleep.
or something. I
Bright
think
lights.
of like the one red light. You know how like
Yeah.
intersection lights turn to red or they do the blinking thing, and it's like been raining and you see this like shiny glare on the
Ooh.
asphalt.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I think
yeah.
of every time. Just walking around like Delaware late at night, you know, like getting a late night meal, going back to my hotel room. This song hits. It makes me feel that way.
Wow.
So that's I love that song.
I like it.
It's got a little bit of everything on it, man.
I'm curious what other people are gonna. If they don't know, I'm curious what I'm very excited.
Can't
to-
wait to
Yeah.
hear
What
say.
people,
Yeah.
where it takes them, if it's not the same place.
Sean?
It's got to be I Shot the Sheriff.
What?
Was that a poke
No.
at me? Because I feel like it was.
Was that a poke at me?
He did not
no.
shoot the deputy.
No, I guess, yeah, you kind of, in this process, you kind of have ones you really vibe with one point, and then it ebbs and flows. It's kind of been the way the last
Already
few
said it.
months.
That's Justin's.
I know, yeah, I know. But I guess Pick Your Poison's probably the one I'm vibing on this week. It probably will change next week. Pick Your Poison's probably the one I'm digging right now.
Killer tune.
Yeah.
Just a really good, nice rock song. Get you going. You know?
Just wake you up.
Deep.
Wake you up.
This is here just to carry you through your day.
So
Yeah.
we got to ask you, what's your favorite?
Oh,
Yeah,
get him,
Carl.
Miles.
Carl,
We've been
you kinda-
keeping you in the
You've been in the loop.
for many reasons.
I would have to say, I keep going back to Skies.
Cool.
You know, I barely use this thing, so I don't know why I'm hanging on to it. Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah.
I have to go back to Skies.
Cool.
It's just I made an emotional connection with the song already, and that's just But it's weird because again, you typically you end the session, you send them the rough mix or whatever, and I listen to it like 2, 3, 4 times, and I'm like, I can pick little things apart. Oh, I really like this. Oh my God, how did they do that? And I'm listening to the lyrics. So it changes. If you had asked me last week, I would have said Serpent. Excuse me. Yeah, last week it was
Yeah.
Serpent.
See, yeah, for me too. Yeah.
But then you sent the new Skies mix, and I was like, oh God, there's just something about this song.
Yeah, what
Were
I
you
sound would
nervous
change
yet?
my shit down too.
What's that?
were you nervous about Serpent when her being?
It does tell a story.
You were always watching, buddy.
All of a sudden,
my story.
Right.
Jay's over there like, what did you mean by a key?
on Serpent. Also, all the guys, all their missuses in the band are like,
Oh,
is this about me? Did you write this song about me, you son of a bitch?
I was
Sorry, that's not me doing Sarah. I'm just saying in general. Everyone's.
I was kind of nervous.
It's an interpretation of just
You saw the original lyrics, right?
yeah,
the
yeah.
original
Yeah,
lyrics.
yeah.
I would sit at my desk and write those while listening to it
Under
out
candlelight.
loud over and
Cool.
over again. And Sarah would walk by, and I'm like, I'm pulling this from the air right now.
Yeah. I will attest to the fact that
Nope.
the first time we talked about that song, you were so excited. You were like, I see the story about, this dude who's cheating on his girl and she comes back and she, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And you were so excited about it. So this was like back in
it's almost
February.
instantaneous.
Use the terminology you wanted, like to make a theatrical murder mystery song.
100%.
Perfect.
Yeah,
You guys
Mission
nailed it.
accomplished.
we did it. We did it.
I feel like this could be. I could see this in a Disney movie. I could see it in.
I don't know about Disney.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
there's not the
Disney,
lyrics
but
aren't like she's got a knife, she's coming after you,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stab,
no,
stab,
yeah.
stab.
It's not Sweeney Todd or anything like
no,
that.
it's very it's G-rated.
Yeah,
it could be
like I
you could
said,
play
you
it
could
PG.
see. You could probably see it in a Disney
Actually,
movie.
the kids,
lyrical
kids,
genius.
there's no
Sorry.
cussing on this entire album. The entire album's
stab,
F
stab,
word
stab.
free. There's no cussing on the album, despite
Yeah,
Greg.
no.
Take a gun and boom, boom, boom.
boom, boom, boom.
Keep running, keep running, keep running.
I changed the lyrics to "Running from My Wife."
Running
got it,
from
you got
my
it.
wife.
Best answer.
Here it is.
Keep running.
We need the other Simpson on a whole different podcast. Running from my wife. Fucking great.
What comes next for HydraFX? I mean, I know you're just releasing this album, but I know that you also have a few more things that were left off of this album that you guys are. Another album next year?
Well, we'll see.
Wherever the journey takes us, man.
Yeah.
Look, I have another song that I need out eventually.
Okay.
These
Gotta
guys
get
already
the
know.
song out.
These
Yeah.
guys
I
already know.
This man will not let it go.
We definitely had
I
that
feel
song that
deeply.
he was talking about, the 3 a.m. song,
Yeah.
I call it.
I feel deeply about it.
3:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
Where it's literally just acoustic, and it's like an acoustic guitar and us
Dude, he
singing
was-
Kansas type stuff.
He was on bass. I was
playing
acoustic,
bass.
and we were all
Oh, wow.
just
We
doing
just fell
harmonies
into it.
like Kansas. That was all it was. That's all it should ever be. It sounded so good. I can't wait to do that. But let's stick to
Yeah.
I'm pushing.
Yeah.
I'm,
He digresses.
one thing at a
I'm
time.
pushing for that song to come out. Like I'm gonna push these guys to it. I'm gonna just let the cat out of the box, or what did you say?
Is that of the biscuit?
The cat
Cat
out
out
of
of
the
the
Cat out of the
biscuit.
biscuit.
Quick.
for like when the leaves fall and there's no it's like a little crispy outside. It's cold, like maybe like a November-ish.
Okay.
Kind
Yeah.
of maybe before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
That
Good
song will come out.
man. This is a good
It's
song.
it's gonna hit you hard like that.
Sweet.
Because that night it was snowing at the cabin when we did that.
Did snow.
true.
It was
one of the nights
beautiful.
it did snow. There it was nice.
It was night, just like tonight.
We wrote some music. I con these guys to jump in the hot tub with me.
I thought you were gonna leave the hot tub.
You got a little weird. No, I think. We've often discussed. You can't take them anywhere.
Sorry.
We often discuss. We're gonna do a single. We're gonna do an EP. We're gonna do an album. I think after this album, I mean, it's just wherever we have a ton of other songs.
Yeah.
It's just whatever we decide to do with them remains to be seen. But I wouldn't put the idea of another album or single or any of that shit out of tangible reach.
Sure.
You know?
Out of the biscuit. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time to sit down, come down to my basement,
Thanks for
and have this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carla.
Thank
We
you.
love you.
You know
We
we love
love
you.
Carla.
We love you.
Carlos Simpson,
Yeah.
baby, Jay Simpson, running from his wife.
All right, I love you guys, but I gotta finish mixing the album.
Hang on,
He's gone.
coming out in 5 minutes from this podcast. Thank you for having us. We love you.
Cool.